Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Team Crawley coming with another video. Today we got some more VGC 17 battles here on the battle spot using this Tapu Fini Mandibuzz team. It's been pretty interesting. Not much to say. This is my second upload with it, so if you missed the last one, I kind of went over the team and everything. But since I already did that, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. My first opponent had a team of Tapu Koko, Slowbro, Celesteela, Mudsdale, Garchomp, and Arcanine. So a pretty standard team, except for, well, I guess the Slowbro I haven't seen at all, and then the Mudsdale I haven't seen for quite some time, so it's a little interesting. So he does have the Trick Room option there. I wasn't 100% sure if Slowbro, I'm still not 100% sure if Slowbro can learn Trick Room, but I was like, should I bring Snorlax or should I still stick with Mandibuzz? And I was like, I'm not 100% sure and I don't want to risk that kind of thing, especially since I'm going to be going up against Tapu Koko. So I guess Snorlax still could have been a good pick because even if he didn't have Trick Room, I'd be able to threaten a lot of damage with high horsepower. So in the end, I decided to go with Mandibuzz Fini since I will underspeed his Koko. So if he does lead Koko, I'll get my train up instead of him. And Arcanine here to help with the Celesteela more than anything. That's the main problem with this team. It's one of the biggest threats is the Celesteela. So I 100% need to bring Arcanine here, and then I decided to bring Kartana for the Tapu Koko, for the Slowbro, for the Mudsdale, even neutral damage on the Celestia if it's low health, neutral damage on the Garchomp. So I don't really have the best matchup here, but I still have a pretty decent matchup. If I play correctly, I should be able to come out on top. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our first battle here. I lead Mandibuzz Tapu Fini, and sure enough, my opponent does lead with Tapu Koko and the Slowbro. So I found this interesting. I was going to say, okay, well, he can't discharge because he has Slowbro. And I don't think Slowbro gets telepathy. So, and then I was like, well, I don't think he's not going to set up Trick Room with Tapu Koko on the field. But then I thought, okay, well, I don't want to set up Trick Room or Tailwind here for him to set up a Trick Room. I was like, should I protect Tapu Fini or should I go for a Calm Mind? I was like, no, the protect is pretty obvious, so I'm going to try and gain an advantage and just set up a Calm Mind. But he did Thunderbolt into that slot. I thought he'd try and like double target down the Mandibuzz or something. But Tapu Fini all of a sudden, straight off the bat, loses tons and tons of health. And I went for the Snarl instead of the Tailwind because I thought he was going to set up a Trick Room. But we do see I get off the Snarl, so I mean, I got a Calm Mind and a Snarl off, but Tapu Fini's still not living in under Thunderbolt. We see a Blizzard here from Slowbro. So like, well, maybe he's not going to set up Trick Room, but Tapu Fini took way more than... If I protected there, that pretty much would have sealed the game, to be completely honest. And he's actually going to end up withdrawing Slowbro here, so like, okay, well, he's not going to have Trick Room then if he's going to switch out. But I protect Fini here. I feel like it's a pretty obvious protect, but I want to get that leftovers recovery and allow me to set up the Tailwind. And once I see the discharge, okay, the switch does make sense, but he's definitely not taking out Mandibuzz. I'm at +1. He's at -1. So you see that is very, 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 very little. And I do get my Tailwind set up, so this is fantastic. My Fini will be able to knock out the Tapu Koko now. But the thing is with what I have in the back, namely Arcanine, I do want to get rid of the Mudsdale because it's going to threaten a lot of damage. So he switches out. He's pretty much stalling out the Tailwind now. So he switches out and he brings in, and he protects and he brings. So he did predict the Muddy Water. Good by my opponent. He avoided a lot of damage. I just went for a Snarl because the Mudsdale is not really going to be threatening much damage to me. From there, I was thinking, okay, well, I'll knock it out with the Muddy Water, and then for the Tapu Koko, I might knock it out, and that'll Snarl will be my best bet of damage. So you already see Tapu Fini's already regained quite a bit of health. So he's going to switch out his Mudsdale now into Celesteela. I was thinking for a second that turns like he must not have Celesteela because he hasn't switched it in yet. But sure enough, we do see it. And I do get a Muddy Water. It is going to get a double connect. Decent damage on Slowbro from the crit. And we do get the accuracy drop on Celesteela, which could be pretty big. And I just go for another Snarl, mainly for the Slowbro, but now that we see so Slowbro is going to be doing very little damage, especially if he doesn't have, if he goes for like a Blizzard, it's not going to be doing very much. But we see a Z move here from the Slowbro. I was like, wow. So he's going to Z move my Tapu Fini to get rid of it. But it's actually going to be a Z Trick Room. So it's going to give him an accuracy boost as well. So like, okay, it does get Trick Room. That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. And it took him a long time. I don't know why he didn't set it up immediately, but that's fine because Tailwind is going to be ending soon. And Tapu Fini's recovered health and everything. I'm still in a good spot. The Slower is really crippled. So I protect Fini. I want to get the recovery, see what the Celesteela is going to do. And you're going to see Blizzard does nothing. And we see Air Slash is like, oh, this is perfect. If this is a... And he predicted the Protector, which is good for him. But if I, like with Snarls, my Calm Minds, I'm going to be taking very, 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 very minimal damage here. This is actually really good for me. And this is a position I want to be in because he has Trick Room set up, and I want to stall at the Trick Room. So I'm in a really good spot here because you see how little damage the Blizzard does. And even like a special type move from Celesteela won't do much. But he does get the freeze, which is really unfortunate. And the Air Slash does. Remember, he's at -1 accuracy, and he's just hit 2 Air Slashes in a row. And Air Slash doesn't even have 100% accuracy. But on this turn, I was like, okay, I'm just going to Calm Mind Snarl and just keep on crippling his Pokemon and stalling out the Tailwind, or he has to switch out. So now that I see the freeze, and right as the terrain went away, I knew that there was a possibility of a freeze. Even on Mandibuzz before the terrain went away, there was the possibility of the freeze. But now I'm like, okay, well, I need to get rid of this Slowbro now so he doesn't freeze my Tapu Fini in particular. We do see a Swagger, so 25% chance I'll hit myself in Confusion. And we're going to see the Flash Cannon from Celesteela, and you're going to see that still does nothing. So Tapu Fini is in a really good spot. And I thaw out, which is great, and I get the Roost off. I was thinking maybe he'd try and pick up the knockout on Mandibuzz, but with that Roost, it'll allow me to set up another Tailwind in the future. So here I go for Moonblast into the Slowbro. I wanted to get rid of it. I wanted to stall out the Trick Room as much as possible, but I didn't want any more of my Pokemon to get frozen or anything. So I do pick up the knockout, which is good. A powerful knockout. And then the Celesteela is crippled. I actually don't even, at this point, I don't even need Arcanine to get rid of it. At this point, Kartana could probably do the trick. So he is going to bring in his Tapu Koko, which is very terrifying because he can discharge me now. So he's going to protect Koko here. This is the very last turn of Trick Room. And I was thinking, this is good for me because his Koko is going to be the slowest Pokemon on the field. But I wish I would have predicted a little bit better this one. Because here, if I went for the Tailwind, that would have sealed the deal immediately because his Tapu Koko just protected, so I could have Moonblasted him next turn. So I do break through Confusion, but it is going to go into the Protect. And now Tapu Koko is going to be the fastest Pokemon on the field because Trick Room is going to expire. So if I was real and I predicted that, I could have gone for the Tailwind and pretty much sealed the deal. So he is going to switch out into his Mudsdale again, and he's going to go for a Discharge. So here, I went for Protect, but I don't get it. I hit myself in Confusion. If I got that Protect and Mandibuzz survives here, I will win basically instantly. And you see Mandibuzz does survive. So I missed out because if I didn't get confused the next turn, I could have, at this point, I probably could have Muddy Watered, and it would have been enough. And I probably would have picked up the knockout on Mudsdale as well. But I do get the Tailwind up, and I'm going to bring in Kartana. So we have a nice 3v3 situation. He's going to switch out his Mudsdale, which is fine. Here I'm like, I just want to pick up a nice knockout onto the Tapu Koko. And because he couldn't protect or anything. Actually, he could have, excuse me. But I didn't think he would. And I'm going to outspeed him. So if he did protect, it wouldn't have mattered because there wasn't much Mudsdale could do to either of my Pokemon. And I get another free Roost off onto my Mandibuzz. So Mandibuzz sticking around here. I decided this battle, if you remember some battles, I'm happy to let it go down. And this one, I want it to stay up because he had 3 special attackers. So the snarls were coming in clutch. It was like Tapu Fini almost got up to like 50% health from all the leftovers recovery because it was taking no damage. So I go for snarls, and so here my main focus is to get rid of the Mudsdale because in the back I have Arcanine, which will easily take care of the Celesteela. But the Mudsdale could be a problem. So here I'm like, okay, I need to get as much residual damage onto Mudsdale as possible. So that's why I protected there. And I wanted a scout to see if he had protect, and he didn't protect. So like, okay, great. But now he protects. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He does have protect, and he either predicted my protect or something. But it was a really good play. So I double targeted there, and we're gonna see the flamethrower. It's gonna come in this time. And I was like, okay, that's fine. It's gonna bring down my sash. He just protected, so he's gonna have to go for a double protect if he has any chance of winning. But he gets the burn onto my Kartana. So Kartana's gonna go down here. That was pretty much my only way of winning because it was going to pick up the one-hit knockout onto the Mudsdale because that was at +1. It would have been easy peasy. So here I have Arcanine. I do get an Intimidate off, which is good on the Mudsdale, and then I can still Snarl onto the Celesteela. So here I still need to take out the Mudsdale. I don't really need to worry about the Celesteela at all. So I'm going to protect, and I'm going to go for another Snarl just to continue to reduce the damage on Celesteela, because Mudsdale probably can't one-shot me anymore because he's intimidated. So I want to reduce the damage Celesteela is going to deal to my Arcanine. Maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to survive both of them, and then I'll be able to get 2 Flare Blitzes off on the Mudsdale. So I'm not going to risk it overprotect. It's pretty much now or never. Maybe get a crit or something. It's not enough to pick up the knockup, but we get the burn back. And I was like, oh boy. So that's a pretty big burn, just as much as the burn that he got on me was pretty big. So at this point, 2 turns of burn might take him out. If not, a burn, snarl, burn will finish him off. So Air Slash comes through. It does very little. It does like 20%. And then High Horsepower also comes through. And I survive at 7, which is clutch. And I'm going to eat up my berry as well. So that's already going to put me back up at over 50% health. So I will be able to continue Flare Blitzing this guy. And Mudsdale's going to get hit by the burn. And my opponent's actually going to get out of here. He's going to forfeit. So that's why you never forfeit when things go bad. I was actually thinking about forfeiting after Kartana got burned because I was so upset. But I was like, yeah, let's try this out. I still have a chance at this. So it actually came through and he ended up forfeiting. So that was pretty nice. Even because even a 1v1 Mandibuzz versus Celesteela, I think Mandibuzz would still win because I had Roost. He had no form of recovery. Plus, he was a special attacker, and I had Snarl. So huge burns coming through on both sides. But turn 1's what screwed me over. If I just protected Tailwinded, turn 1, that would have sealed the deal immediately. So. Because then the following turn I could have Calm Minded, Snarled, and his Thunderbolt all of a sudden would have done less than half damage to me. So I was trying to make a too bold of a prediction, and it didn't work. But things turned out in the end. But that's definitely what I could have done better. Was that turn 1 move of him getting that Thunderbolt off really wrecked my strategy. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Battle 2 now. My opponent had a team of Xurkitree, Kartana, Tapu Bulu, Garchomp, Mimikyu, and oh boy, I forget that Pokemon's name. Oh my goodness, the Poison Water one that's on the far left. I haven't seen that in VGC ever. I had it on my singles team, but I do not remember what it's called. But Toxapex. Wow, I just remembered. Okay. So a very interesting team here. Garchomp's gonna put in a ton of work with this on the Xurkitree, on the Toxapex, especially since Toxapex is so bulky. And even on the Tapu Bulu, if the Bulu's like at 75% health or lesser, I get off a Swords Dance. I'll be able to take care of the Tapu Bulu. So I definitely want to lead Feeny Mandibuzz here. So the only thing that took me a while to decide was if I wanted Arcanine or Kartana, because Arcanine could help out with a lot of. Well, it could intimidate the Garchomp and the Mimikyu, and it could help out with his Kartana and his Tapu Bulu, and intimidating all of those. But my Kartana would be able to help out with the Toxapex, with the Bulu, with the Kartana. So I just had in the end, I decided to bring Kartana just because I felt like it was going to be better here, especially with the grass terrain that Tapu Bulu was going to bring. So the other three were pretty easy choices, and it was just that last one that I had decided what I wanted. So let's go ahead and move on, or get into the second battle here. And my opponent's going to lead Toxapex Tapu Bulu, which I wasn't expecting at all. It's actually going to counter what I lead here with my Feeny Mandibuzz. So I'm actually faster than him, than his Bulu, so he's going to end up getting the train up. Luckily, I do proc the Misty Seed, so I do get the special defense boost, which probably isn't going to matter too much, but the grass terrain is going to get up. So I'm going to switch out Feeny here. There's no point in protecting, because even if I set up the Tailwind, there's nothing Feeny's going to be able to do offensively to his Pokemon. So I do get up the Tailwind. I'm thinking he's going to go for a grass type move into the Feeny slot. So we do see a Hornleech. It is going to be quad resisted by me, and Kartana has good physical defense. So you see that was a crit right there. It didn't even do 25%. So Toxapex is interestingly enough going to use Infestation. So I'm not going to be able to switch out, and then chances are Kartana is going to be locked in as well. So, but that's good news because the Toxapex isn't going to be doing much offensively. So I just go for the Smart Strike in the Tapu Bulu. I feel like that was kind of a mistake. The better option might have been just going for the Leech Seed and the Toxapex. Excuse me, the Leaf Blade and the Toxapex, because the terrain was going to be up. It probably wouldn't have been a one-shot, but I feel like that was the bigger damage threat, because the Bulu isn't going to be able to do much. You can see the Nature's Madness is going to come through and do half my health. He's going to Infestation my Kartana. So, the good news is my opponent isn't putting off that much offensively. Grass type moves are quad resisted by Kartana and resisted by Mandibuzz. So I'm really happy in my position here, because Kartana threatens both of his Pokemon. Unfortunately, I'm not going to stick around for too long thanks to the Infestation. But now I can pick up a knockout on Tapu Bulu, get the Beast Boost, and probably pick up a one-hit knockout on whatever he switches in. But I go for the Protect here. This was kind of a misplay, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking maybe he'd go for a Protect or do something with the Tapu Bulu. That's why I went for the Foul Play. It would have been better if I went on the offense to pick up the Beast Boost, but I just felt like some sort of cheese was coming through. So I wanted to Protect just because I just felt like something was going to happen, but nothing ended up happening. This guy's not even protected yet, so he ends up poisoning Mandibuzz as well, which I'm okay with. Just because this, the less this Toxapex does damage-wise, or just the better. So he's going to end up bringing a Xurkitree here, which I'm perfectly fine with, because my Kartana is going to outspeed now. Unless if it's holding Focus Sash, it's going down to a Leaf Blade thanks to the grass terrain. So no Focus Sash, goodbye. So that's a free Beast Boost. And if Kartana would have picked up the knockout on Tapu Bulu, I'd be at +2 and I'd be able to one-shot this Toxapex, especially with the train up. I go for a Roost here with Mandibuzz just because I don't want it to go down quite yet. I want to see what his last Pokemon is before Mandibuzz doesn't put that much off offensively, but I still want it around just in case. If not, it'll go down another 2 or 3 turns to the Toxic and the Infestation. So I just want to know if I need to reset up this Tailwind. And Kartana does come in, so I'm like, okay, I'm glad I kept my Mandibuzz. Oh, I guess the root. Well, The roost may have been necessary because if not, his Kartana might have been tempted to go for Secret Sword and Mandibuzz instead of Kartana to pick up the knockout. But I do have the Tailwind, so that means I'm going to outspeed his Kartana. And my Secret Sword will definitely KO because I'm at +1. So Mandibuzz putting in the work with the multiple Tailwinds. So you see this Toxapex, I mean, it's a decent idea getting a lot of residual damage off, but other than that, it's not putting that much off offensively. So there's kind of a waste there. That's why you don't really see it in VGC. But this guy wanted to try it out, obviously. So the train's going to go away, but that's not going to matter because I'm just going to Secret Sword. I can Secret Sword Cortana, or I can Leaf Blade Toxapex, but I do have Garchomp in the back with the Tectonic Rage. That'll be more than enough to pick up the knockout. So as long as I picked up the knockout there, I would have been fine. I also went for Foul Play. Kartana wasn't holding a Focus Sash. It may have been Assault Vest. But that's pretty much going to seal the deal here. There's got a lot of animations going on. But the Pokemon he had weren't really... Or the Tapu Bulu was decent, but once I brought out Kartana, there was nothing you could do against it. He probably still... But he didn't really have much he could swap out into either. You wouldn't want to swap out into your own Kartana in that instance. Or the Xurkitree. So I'm just going to go for the Tectonic Reach here. If I wanted to be really certain, I could have gone for a Swords Dance. Or I could have even gone for an Earthquake this turn. And when Mandibuzz went down, gone for Tectonic Rage the following turn. Because there's nothing this Toxapex is going to be able to do to me. But it's not... Toxapex has like base 160 if I'm not mistaken, but it'll be fine. So I do pick up the one-hit knockout there. And that's going to be the end of Game 2. So a couple of interesting battles, seeing the Toxapex there. And that first one just... I did get kind of lucky, I'm not going to lie, but that's part of Pokemon, but I got kind of lucky that he had so many special attackers, especially if the Celesteela was a special attacker. If it was a physical... Well, but at the same time, if it was a physical attacker, Celesteela wouldn't have been able to do anything offensively to my Arcanine. So the Snarls wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But I made a bold prediction, and I almost paid for it, but we ended up playing through and getting through it, and seeing the Toxapex. So some pretty decent power here, just good synergy, Calm Mind and Snarls. It's a pretty good idea. So that's pretty much going to be it. I'll still be coming at you with these battles. Today I looked up when Worlds was, and I can't believe it's next weekend. Time has gone by so fast. So in case you guys don't know, well, you guys probably don't know. I don't think I told you. But Worlds are going to be held in Anaheim, California. And I moved back to Southern California, so Worlds are it's like an hour away from where I live. So I'm going to try and go. I think I don't think you need to pay to spectate, but you can pay and you can do these certain events. I'm not 100% sure, but it's like $5 or $10 to spectate anyway. So, and it's for all 3 days, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'd be able to meet some legends, some Pokemon legends while I'm there. So I'll probably be there for that. I'm really excited, especially because I moved back like right in the year that they do have it in Anaheim. So enough of that. That's pretty much going to be it. If you guys want to battle me, go ahead and let me know. If you got any suggestions for me, also go ahead and let me know. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.